Hey there, it's BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thank you very much for coming out. Today is Wednesday, and we're playing PC Building Simulator. There's probably some people in the chat that are very, very confused why we're playing PC Building Simulator. To be fair, because I have not played that game in a while. And also, there's probably a lot of you out here that don't even remember me playing this in the first place. Yeah, I played a crap ton of it, like, a long time ago. Funny Stuff says, I thought PC Building Simulator was a myth. I know! Fluffy says, my villagers are talking about me and how jealous they are that my title is Chaotic Egg. As they should! They chaos, it burns, it consumes. Anyway. So I have not touched this game in a while. Some new stuff has come out for it. New parts, all of that jazz. There's a whole lot of, like, just new quality of life things that have also been added. But that's not 100% why I decided I wanted to try and do this today. Because, I don't know, maybe it's just the fact that Mapley has been talking about their, like, computer upgrades as of late. And talking about how, oh, I got some new hard drives and, man, I want to install them. But, like, I gotta wait for my dad to come in and help me out with that. Honestly, it's not that hard. And, you know, case in point, I kind of wanted to do this just as kind of a reminder to say, it's like, hey, just so you know, it's not that ridiculous. And PC Building Simulator, it's a really good educational tool, I feel. So for some of you in here that have not seen PC Building Simulator, and have never thought about building your own PC and whatnot, this is kind of a little bit of a tutorial. And as a matter of fact, the one thing that I never did on stream, I don't think, is actually play the tutorial of the game. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, and then afterwards we're going to dive into free build just to screw around and try and build stuff. Because that's another thing I never did when I played this game originally. I did not do free build. Don't ask me why. I just... Oh, thank you very much for breaking screen. Anyway, let's move on in. We got some more music tracks in the game now. Very jazz. I'm not sure what a good volume for the audio is for this, but I'll set it there for now. Okay, so like I said, let's go ahead and do the how to build a PC section. Now, show of hands in the chat. How many people actually know how to build a PC? Because this might be completely redundant. I don't even know. Hey, Pink, how you doing? Ah, we're starting with this music. Okay. Sure. Also, I love the weird blue-purple shimmer going on with the grid in the background. Kippy says, 0 knowledge. Oh, boy. Pink is saying, doing good. New game? Actually, old game. I have played this a lot in the past. However, I never took a look at the tutorial since I kind of know how computers are built in general, so I was just like, I don't need no stinking tutorial. Screw you. Let me dive into it. So yeah, we're going to take a look at this. And again, I would like to educate you guys along with my own personal experiences with the computers that I have built. So let's do that. In this tutorial, you will learn about the main components of a PC and how they go together. This is a computer box. First, we need to remove the side panel. Get your hammer. No. Anyways, so there it is. There's the inner workings of your computer. Looks pretty empty as balls, doesn't it? Well, no. It doesn't have anything in it. Kippy says, I told my husband I needed the computer reformatted when I learned it needed to be switched to Windows 10. I gave him a heart attack. Oh, jeez. Look, I know there are some people that are, like, extremely heavily, technically inclined. Other people that are not. All right, fun fact, I don't necessarily have to take off the back panel, but the tutorial is telling me to do so. I suppose it helps with routing cables and whatnot. Kippy says I'm at Boomer Karen level of how the fuck do computers work. Well, this should give you a little bit of knowledge about how the computers work, and I'll try and give a little bit of information about each individual part and tell you how it works. So, next up, we will install the power supply unit, or PSU. This provides the power to all of the components. Right. The power supply, it brings in the power and then uses about as much as your computer needs, as indicated by what you decide to hook up to the power supply. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. first and foremost, it looks like we need to take off this back panel. There we go. Now, let me go grab the PS. It's just sitting in a box. Anyway, the power supply. I wonder which one it is. You know, funny enough, I really wish I could play the, guess which part is the power supply game with you guys. But sadly, it's giving me what the power supply is with a gigantic outline around it. So great. But no, this is the main components of a power supply. So that's the main area where you plug it in the back. That is the cooling fan that goes on top, usually. Sometimes they can be mounted upside down. Depends. And then here's all of the individual, like, plugins for things that you're going to be powering your computer with. And I think out of everything that... out of all of the ways that computer building is complicated, the one that might be the worst tends to be cable management. And just knowing how certain things combine and, connect to your computer and in what ways with what cables. However, I found that with modular ports, as it's kind of showing here, there are certain power supplies that actually come with just all of the cables you will ever need, except they're just jutting out of the power supply out of like one hole in it. And it's ugly and it's crappy and I hate it. But I like this kind of a setup because it allows you to choose which cables you want to be plugged in, making it a lot cleaner. So let's go ahead and make the install. So there we go. Put back this panel, screw it back in. Make sure all of the proper components are mounted, will not shake around. Donezo. At the heart of the PC is the motherboard, and all of the major components connect to it. You probably have heard the term motherboard before. Yep, essentially it's the big old circuit board that connects all of the pieces together. And that would be this. Now this is particularly complicated. We will get into it slowly. Let's not call anything out so far. Let's just, right now, let's just attempt to try and put it into the system, Don't worry too much about that right now. Install a motherboard. Okay. Now, the first thing you want to do is make sure that your motherboard is not mounted directly to the back here, because in all likelihood, this back panel is a metal panel. You don't want your motherboard to be touching it, because if you do, there's a chance that there could be some sort of an electric short. And if you don't know what that is, basically, power travels from one part of the motherboard to another part of the motherboard, except not along its main paths. So for example, it'll touch here, and then an electric shock will just pass right through it and fuck up a ton of the components on it. Hello, Mapley. How you doing? This tutorial is for you. I joke. You just kept on talking about hard drives, and I'm just like, God damn it. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that you're exhausted. Kippy says, I only know about avoiding that during a lightning storm. I guess that could happen, but if that were to happen, first of all, your house's power, you might want to look into that, because there shouldn't be shorts going through your system. But, yeah, that can happen, and I think what you're referring to could potentially also be a power surge, and that can happen when the power on a computer isn't shut off manually. If you accidentally unpower it from the wall, either by pulling the plug or by flipping the switch on the side of the power supply, which there tends to be a switch on the power supply. Or yeah, if the power just straight up goes out and then suddenly this thing loses power, there's a good chance that power will redirect in a place that you don't want it to go to. Ooh, okay, Mapley woke up at 6. Ugh. Sorry to hear that. Okay, so what it wants us to do now is connect the power to the power supply. This should be fairly simple because, as you can see, the power supply that we have for the motherboard, oddly enough, it looks like we have a long strip. Sorry, it's hard. I don't have a good angle at it. Oh, here we go. There's a long strip right here, and a bunch of other shaped sockets, so to speak. And oddly enough, this one's very long, and they're differently shaped. So in theory, I think I could connect this to this. Yes. Connect this boy. Let me see where this place is trying to connect to. Ah! Oh, okay. I know what this is. This is actually the... This is the connection that connects up to all of the panels on the front. Like that. One more thing for the power. And bam, your motherboard is connected. Alright, now we're going to start talking about the CPU stuff. Ooh, hello, hobo. I fell asleep at 2 p.m. yesterday because I hadn't slept the night before. I actually had some really bad sleep this week. Actually, I think... No, it was last week. And I ended up taking a nap, like, for an hour. Mapley has posted a YouTube video. Ah, meme! See that later. Okay, let's go get into the subject of the CPU. Central Processing Unit is the PC's brain. It performs calculations based on information from some components and passes the results to others. That's a very good way to put it. Because it's trying to attempt to send out signals and piece together things and make all of the parts of the computer do individual things based on what you want it to do, you know? Which, for you, and if you're using a user interface, you don't have to nearly go... I don't know. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this. I know a lot of this from just rudimentary, this goes here. Hello, Rosa. But yeah, that's a good way to put it, is that it is the PC's brain. So let's go ahead and add it. Thing is, there's a specific way that you should be putting a CPU in a computer, so let's take a look at this. Apparently, Rosa has got a riddle for me. Okay, shoot. Let's grab the processor. Let's take a gander at what is on the processor, because this is actually not too complicated. So underneath, we have a set of pins. These pins should slot into where the CPU's slot actually is, like fairly perfect. What streams and owes me a mic? Me? And then we have the heat plate on here. Now, the heat plate's job is to try and direct heat from these pins. And from the circuitry that is lying underneath this thing. Because this thing, it gets very hot. Especially a lot of processors nowadays. Ding dong, and wow, this is kind of cybercore. Yes, we're learning about computers. But anyways, so now that we have the CPU, let's go ahead and head over here. It appears that this computer is based off of Intel chipsets, based on what this thing, you know, what the CPU thing looks like. So let's open it up. You'll often see a CPU shield similar to this on Intel type of devices. I feel like how you say, I am in cyberspace. Somewhat. Welcome to PC Building 101. Actually, technically speaking, that's pretty much exactly what I'm doing here. Now, it's not too hard to set down your CPU properly. Usually with a socket like this, there tends to be an arrow pointing somewhere on the socket, or like, you know, a little triangle on one of the edges of the CPU. And then your CPU should have a matching arrow that looks pretty much exactly the same. And all you have to do is line those arrows up, and it should work properly. Skillshare now with Bit. I wish. I think I would actually be getting paid in that capacity. Alright, now once you have it down, I should mention that you should try not to get any kind of dust or any kind of debris underneath that, because if it's not going to mess with your performance, you might also have some kind of issues with, you know, just having the thing fry on you, or just straight up not working. Try and keep your area as clean as possible. In general, you should also attempt to try and keep your area as static-free as possible, because you don't want to accidentally send static electricity into any of these devices. Hobo says I'm making fancy outfits in Animal Crossing. Nice. Anyway, let's lock this thing down. And here's an interesting little bit. Apply the thermal paste. The CPU gets very hot and it needs to be cooled by a cooler. First, we apply thermal paste to the CPU to improve the conductivity between it and the cooler. This is an important step because, like I said before, that heatsink gets really hot, and you don't want that heat just to be sitting there. So at some point, we're going to be putting a cooler on it. But in order for the cooler and for the CPU to connect snugly, you're going to need to seal it with some kind of a thermal paste. Now, sometimes a thermal paste or a thermal pad comes with your CPU. In this case, it did not. So, add a little bit. That tends to be what I tend to do with thermal paste. You can either put down like a pea-sized little bit of thermal paste and then squish it down with the cooler. I know some people that tend to actually smear it and try to make a flat surface of thermal paste and try and cover every single corner of the heatsink. That works too. I know some people that get nuclear about their, the way that they apply thermal paste. Don't matter. Whatever. As long as you have thermal paste and you avoid bubbles as much as you possibly can. Like the idea is getting a nice even seal. Anyways, let's go and grab the CPU cooler now. How do you keep an area static free, says Kippy. That's a good question. Well, a good way to do that is to try and ground yourself as much as possible. So, a rubber mat tends to do very well to insulate you, so you're not sending any kind of static electricity into your computer. Shag carpeting is not a good thing to be working with a computer with. Try not to wear any kind of flannel or anything that, could create a whole lot of static electricity. If all else, if you want to be very safe, you can go out and buy a static electricity band that actually grounds you and connects you to the ground so that you're not sending electricity through your fingertips. That's something that you can actually do. You guys are having conversations in this chat and I'm not reading it. Hold on. Rosa says, I'm trying to... Crossbreed? I need tips for a good island. You seem like you got a lot of time in mind. Oh. Crossbreed. Oh. Hey, Geek Squad. I mean, Bitby. Why do laptops heat up or get hot so quickly? It really depends on what you're doing with a computer. If you're using your laptop to play a lot of video games, I mean, that means that your computer is processing a heck of a lot heavier. And again, processing means heat, and heat means heat needs to be dispersed. And then your fans dispel the heat. If your laptop is getting particularly warm, like ridiculously warm, I would actually try and check any kind of fans that you have on your laptop or any kind of exhaust ports on it. Because it might help to clean it out if it's getting really stupidly hot. Sometimes you just have a warm running laptop and that's just the default. Like, I know I had a warm running default for the longest time. Or warm running laptop, not warm running default. Sorry, I'm mushmouth. I know that a lot of laptops nowadays run a lot cooler because chipsets have gotten thinner, gotten smaller. And it's not something you really have to worry about nowadays unless you have a super buff PC. TechBee, that's your new name for this thing. What was your first computer you want to know? My first computer was a real old, I think it was called Micron. It was like a Micron PC, Windows. And that thing was cheap and could barely do anything. Basically, it could read Word documents, play PowerPoints. I could use MS Paint. It was like Windows 98. And it only had like 3 gigs of hard drive space. Not 30, not 300. 3. It was the dark ages. Oh, Mapley says, by the way, I got all the stuff for my LED lights at last. And when I have the time, I was wondering if I could get people's opinions on what you should put on your wall. Boy, I guess that really depends on the accents of what you're going to be putting on the wall. Kippy says, when I think of a computer overheating, I always think of the scenes in Serial Experiments Lane. Oh, geez. I don't know that reference. Head hurt. 300 megabytes, says funny stuff. Yes. Again, it was miserable. Anyway, you have been staring at this hole in the ground for a long time. Let's move on to the thing. So this is a pretty stock CPU cooler. It's a gigantic hunk of metal, and that's what we're going to be sticking down. Now you'll notice there's a little bit of a raised edge right here. This is what is going to be touching the CPU. So the idea is it touches the CPU, the heat is dispersed into this coil, the coil is then connected to this fan, which runs and blows the heat away. And therefore, you have got a protected CPU. It's not 100% completely necessary sometimes. Like, it depends on what kind of CPU you have. But if you're going to be doing a lot of computing, I would definitely recommend a heatsink. You do not want your CPU to just die on you. So let's go ahead and do that. Connect up. And now we actually have to connect it to the power. And usually there is a socket on the motherboard that, accepts some kind of a CPU fan. Rosa says, are you a Mac or a PC? Definitely PC. I really like the customization with PCs. Macs are way too proprietary, and I know that does make it a little bit easier for, it makes it easier for Macintosh and for Apple to do tech support for stuff, but at the end of the day, I really like having the functionality of doing whatever I want with the computers I want. I like customizing. So fancy. Rosa says, I figured out my theme. I'm thinking of moon space themed. Not making a literal moon because that would be dumb. Wait, that had been done. Never mind. And I want to make a place called the Moon Rock Cafe. Neato. Okay, Kippy says apparently Serial Experiments Lane is a classic. Great if you ever want some of that good, tripping 90s anime. Oh my god. I wasn't entirely sure what it was, and now that you say anime, I can envision the 90s anime. Kippy says I got my Mac for free, but yeah, I'm sick of Apple's bullshit. That's kind of the problem when Apple is in complete and full control. Like, they basically have the say, like, I guess we'll help you. All right, it's like, I'll cover you for free, sure. Oh, no, this looks like user error. I mean, one of the really nice things about building your own PC, I'd like to point this out, is that, sure, it can be a bit of an expense, but when you put that expense into your computer, it comes back to you tenfold. You end up having a ton of power and a lot of flexibility to be able to do a lot of things with that system. Basically, things that if you would have bought the exact same PC pre-built for you, you would be spending another, like, twice the amount that you would have if you just built it yourself. And that's what I really like about it, too. Power without that much money to it. Bill Gates listening intently. But anyways, now we're going to get into the part that's really juicy for anybody that likes playing video games, the graphics card. GPUs are often mini computers in themselves, with their own processors and memory to calculate the complex visuals of today's games. Yep. Let's see what we're starting out with. Mr. Generic Video Game Graphics Card, number 12. So yeah, it's giving you all these details about everything that is currently in here. It's not too complicated. Okepi says, Apple makes charging cables thin, easy to peel, and easier to destroy accidentally by wrapping it the way the prongs want you to wrap. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. The build quality for these things, like, Apple quality is... It's cheap quality builds for something that is so expensive to try and get. And maybe they'll replace it with AppleCare. Like, I don't really like that. Apple, let's get rid of the headphone jack. To be fair, a lot of people are. And I'm really annoyed by that. Replacement charge, $80. Yeah, hell no. I'd much rather go with something a lot more open source. And not, like, patented by Apple and forced on you. Anyways. This is pretty simplistic, you know, like here, if we look at the outer portion of this, it looks like, yep, that's where the monitor connects. And oh, yeah, there's also an HDMI on this thing, a DVI as well. How nice. But to not get too complicated with this, I mean, this is what's going to be running your graphics. You know, full stop. It's got a bunch of chips in it. It's essentially a mini CPU that it's a mini computer that does everything graphics-wise. So there you go. And in order to install that, we've got to install it into one of these card ports. And they can vary differently depending on what type of card you're trying to plug into your computer. So we're just going to assume that this one is great for like a, you know, a graphics card. So let's do the work. Unscrew the, what are these things called again? Shoot. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, PCI cover. Yeah, these are PCI ports, specifically. Now, pop it down, and now, take that exact same screw, screw it back in, and bada boom, you have installed a graphics card. Now, I will say, there are some graphics cards that are so powerful that they require you to give extra power from the power supply. So, you know, sometimes you may need to connect one of those, one of the cables from the power supply up to the GPU just in order to get it to run. And if you don't, you could run into some problems, either errors or your graphics card just isn't going to run as efficiently as it would. Kippy says, I couldn't afford a new laptop yet, so I bought a third-party cord protector. I had to lube it up. Lube up my new charging cable to get it on there. Very strange. I never thought I would see lube up the cable. Mac is literally falling apart after a few weeks. Yep, user error. All right, now let's move on to memory. RAM is very fast memory that the CPU uses to hold the programs that are running on the PC. RAM comes in sticks, and many of the same type can be combined to give the PC more memory to use. The best way that I have seen described of RAM is this. So here's a very good example. Your hard drive is long-term memory. That is where you store all of your files and everything that you want to stay there permanently. And memory, aka RAM, this is short-term memory. This is basically where programs and information about programs are held for a brief period of time while they're currently being run, and then immediately wiped as soon as you're done using them. I think that's a very good way to put it. And Rosa says, Bit, did you grow up with the 80s or 90s anime? Because I love either. 90s specifically, except for me, I watched a lot of the really main, what is it? The mainstream animes that came out. Like, you know, I watched a lot of Pokemon and Digimon, a little bit of DBZ. I'm not hardcore into the anime. Pink says, would this game help you learn about fixing a computer? Yes, the campaign of this game is actually pretty nice about that. It does teach you, because the campaign's all about getting some computers in from customers and taking a look inside and seeing what the problems are. So you do a little bit of trial and error, and eventually you find out, oh, your CPU is fucked. Okay, let's replace that. Tech be the techie. Bill Nye, the science guy. Anyway, let's go ahead and grab the memory. There it be. Looks so pretty. So some more information about RAM. There are many different variations and types of RAM. And if you're not careful, you could end up picking the wrong stick of RAM. So for anything computer related, I would recommend starting from the motherboard, and I would make decisions from there. Because the motherboard is going to tell you what's going to be compatible with it and what isn't. And it's going to have all the information about just the little tiny intricacies with every part. And all you really need to do is follow the, just every tiny little intricacy. You know, like if there's a specific type that it will allow, follow that type. Try not to go out of that spectrum, because usually you're going to get something that's incompatible. And I know RAM is something that can be a major problem with that. So let's just assume that this RAM works. Oh, and also, RAM tends to come in packs of 2. Mostly because computer slots, these things tend to work in tandem. So, you know, this is dual channel RAM, so it works with these 2 channels. And then the other set are just for extra RAM if you need it. Here we go, installing the hard drive. The last major component is the hard disk drive. The hard drive stores all the data for the operating system, the programs, and the user's photos, music, and videos. Funny Stuff is asking how I can download more RAM. I got some bad news for you. Anyways, there it is, just sitting sad in the bottom. It looks like they designed the look of this thing so that it looks a little bit like a Western Digital. Somewhat. Yeah, definitely. This is pretty simple. So, yeah, there's a big old metal disc that spins inside this thing and is read at super fast speeds. And we got these ports on the back. The distinction on this is SATA. This is a power cord, by the way. This is where the power comes in. All right. And it looks like this computer rig has got a, a special little easy no screw setup for the hard drive installation. So let's just pop it in, slide it back in. But again, now we have to actually connect it. So this is a SATA port. Let's connect that. And then usually the SATA ports are all grouped up in one spot on the motherboard. Doesn't really matter which one you decide to plug it into. Just go ahead and plug it in. You can try and look for a specific sequence, but most operating systems and things of that nature are... And also, most motherboards are really friendly nowadays and just let you connect wherever the heck you want. Again, don't take my advice 100%. Sometimes there are actual specifics that you need to follow. Worst case scenario, Google. Anyway, so there's the power. Connect that guy into the power. Additional cooling. All the components of the PC give out heat. Case fans will help keep the temperature down by moving the hot air out of the case. Indeed. Turn this thing back forward and grab this guy, which is a case fan. Now these things, out of all the components in a computer, there's a good chance that case fans are going to die first. Because I've had quite a few case fans, unfortunately, die on me. But they are made by the ton, so it's very easy to get yourself a replacement. Just make sure that you get one of the proper form factor. So let's mount this thing on the side. There we go. And of course, we need to actually power it. Let's connect that. Find a spot on the motherboard. Now we just need to replace all the covers to protect all those delicate components. Absolutely. I know some people that are insane that just have like an open concept computer thing going. Which you can do, but you need to make sure that you take some proper care of it. And I'm going to recommend you should definitely clean out your computer every now and then, because dust and grime, it does eventually collect up, and that can affect heating. And when components get too heated, they go kaput. So, and this one. Now we need to plug in all the cables and power the PC on. So let's do that. We got 4 cables that we need to plug in. First off, the power directly to the PSU. And this is a USB powered thing. So if you'll notice, back here, this is like the I/O plate, like the I/O interface, so to speak. And this is where all of your ports are going to end up being. So you see a bunch of USBs, just plug it in. And this is where your audio jacks are. And Ethernet right there. Ah, okay, oh, never mind. Okay. So this is HDMI. We're going to plug that into the HDMI port on the graphics card. And one more USB powered thing. These 2 USB powered things most definitely are like the keyboard and mouse. And again, this has become a heck of a lot easier over time because there used to be individual connectors for a lot of different things. Like I know that the mouse and the keyboard used to be their own separate connectors. Printer cables were a hell of a thing. Like, goddamn. Trying to remember some other stuff as well. I don't know. Computers have just gotten easier and easier to deal with over time. But anyways, it's all connected now, so let's just press the power button and hope it doesn't explode. Oh, hey, there's the main menu. Oh, hey, we're back. And there we go. That is how you build a computer. Now, of course, again, that's kind of a very basic introduction to how to build computers. And like I said, while we were doing that, computers are kind of a complicated thing. So if you are thinking about diving into making a computer, I would recommend starting with the motherboard, learning what things work with the motherboard, and moving forward from there. Knowing some of the technical limitations that you're working with will help too. Like, once you know about all the components that you're going to be picking up, then you can make a decision about how powerful of a PSU you're going to need, power supply. I know that a lot of this stuff is stupidly complicated, but honestly, after doing it once, it's pretty simple. At least for me. I don't know. I kind of live for this shit. I don't know if you could tell. But now that we have learned a thing or two about how we build computers, let's go ahead and put that into practice. And I'm going to do a little bit more teaching as we go along here. So here we are in the free build area. I have not done this on the stream before, but hello. Okay, so this place is pretty clean. Like, there's not much going on. So, again, the world's our oyster. We can do whatever the heck we want. Yeah, ignore the ads on the side of the freaking walls. Okay, so we need to pick ourselves some storage. Are these the only PC? Hold on a second. Let me go to the store and see if I can find some more cases. Ah, yes. I want to find a fancy case. First things first, I had an idea. I want to see if I can try and recreate my computer down here from as from scratch as possible. So let's go ahead and do that. Be quiet, silent base 600 window green. Which one looks the most like mine? See, here's the fun thing about this game. They actually have branded hardware that you can pick from a list of things, and that's really freaking cool. Because then in the real world, you can go and buy these peripherals and all of these components and actually make it work, like IRL. So, I think the Be Quiet thing is just... Is that a brand? I don't even... Oh, here we are. Here's some Cooler Master stuff. Fluffy says, is this music Santa Claus is coming to town? I think it might be. I think there was like a Christmas pack that was released for this game, and I don't know if they replaced the music or not. I am not sure. Oh, there's some other music. Anyway. Now let's go with Cooler Master just because they tend to have a heck of a lot of case fans, and I like that. Ooh, Hobo says, me and my dad recently upgraded my computer, and we needed a better heatsink. So we stole the one out of my sister's old computer. We thought it would be fine because no one ever uses it, but sure enough, someone plugged it in and played Destiny 2. That didn't go well. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Yeah, if I could recommend anything, like, if you're gonna reuse peripherals, you should be real darn sure that they're still good. Again, compatibility. That's another huge thing, too. Make sure that whatever you're deciding to get is compatible with whatever system you are getting. Because I know my brother ended up losing a computer because of that. I do not even know how the heck it happened, but just his power supply just up in flames. Because yeah, he was trying to build his own PC, and something went haywire. I do not remember what it was. All I know is that I could smell the smoke, and electronic smoke, that's a heck of a thing. Anyway, let's choose a Cooler Master here. This is kind of the closest thing to my current computer rig, so let's do that. Someone used your sister's computer without a heatsink. Oh! I understand. Sorry. I didn't get that for a moment. But yes, absolutely. Use a computer with a heatsink. Holy crap. Anyway. So it appears that this thing already has some components in it, that being all of the fans and whatnot. So let's take off the back panel and the front panel, and let's begin. Oh, jeez, this is one of those fancy computer things that has, like, a whole bunch of extra side panels and shit. Great. Is this the same power tower, the tower we were using before? No. It's different, right? I don't know. My memory is applesauce. All right, how do I want to start here? Where do I want to go first? Can't help but notice that this thing does not appear to have... Oh, wait. Okay, it does have a spot for hard drives. Okay, never mind. I am a dumb... All right. So, like I said, let's try and build something as close to my actual computer as possible. Starting off with a motherboard. Well, I currently have an Asus Republic of Gamers type of... yes, here we are. Now, I don't think I'm going to be getting the exact same thing that I would have before, but let's see. Trying to remember what exactly it is. Like, Republic of Gamers. Now, here's EVGA stuff. If I had to give any kind of recommendations for parts, I trust Asus and I trust EVGA. They make some good stuff. Gigabyte. There's a lot of options for freaking motherboards. I wonder, is Coffee Lake the newest iteration of CPU? I'm trying to recall. Seems to be the biggest one here, so. Oh dear. It appears that my ignorance is starting to show. Okay, well, what do we want to do here? I think... Ooh, the max speed of RAM, 4133 megahertz. Yeah, that's GPU. Ooh, okay. You know what? I like the sound of all of this stuff. The blind leading the lost. No, it's fine. I know what the fuck I'm doing. For the most part, I know what the fuck I'm doing. It's fine. It's fine. Let's go with this. And this is a big old motherboard. Let me see. Like, my computer is a damn beast. It's one of those that you see and you go, holy crap, how do you lug that from one place to another? And my answer is, I don't when I can. Actually, I don't whenever I can. And there we go. Mounted in. All right, so that is the motherboard. Now, let's decide on... Oh, first off, let's take these off, because we're going to need a space to put the power supply. I think that's the next thing I want to focus on now. Let's go to the power supply. Now, like I said, here's an interesting story. I've said this a couple of times on the stream, but it bears repeating. When I built my first computer, I was really worried about getting the proper power supply to go with my motherboard, and I didn't really know what was going to be an appropriate amount of power. So I decided to just get a bundle with a motherboard and a power supply so that I didn't have to worry about it. And the power supply I ended up getting with the bundle was about 1,600 megawatt energy, MWE. And it turns out that that is way more power than you need. Like, basically, that much power could potentially, if you were able to rig it up and if it was getting some kind of power from something, you could probably rig that thing up to a golf cart and actually make it run. So what I'm saying is, I went way too overboard you don't need to be buying that much power. For most computers, the most you're ever really going to need is about 600. So something like this. But considering that I use a heck of a lot of power, 1000 tends to be a pretty good number. 900. Ooh. Actually, I just recently replaced my I just recently replaced my power supply because it started not turning on properly. My computer was stalling for some reason and wouldn't activate properly, so I'm like, uh-oh. Luckily, it was a power supply issue, so... Yeah, here we go. EVGA Supernova 1600 T2. You don't need this. 1600 is excessive as hell. You do not... Let's go with 1000. 1000's fine. And the benefit of going with the proper amount of power is that you aren't going to have to worry about having a gigantic slab of a power supply, therefore having a little bit more room in your case. So there you go. All right. So we got the power supply. Goody goody. What do I want to start off with next? CPU. Now, as you can see, AMD cards are not working. The reason is that AMD and Intel are entirely separate chipsets. And that tends to be the divide. You either get a motherboard with AMD chip or Intel. Me personally, I don't think it really matters. If you want to save a little bit of money, go with AMD. Intel tends to be the one that overinflates their product because, oh, we're Intel. You know, it's fine. It'll work. So what would be the closest card power to my computer? Again, we're going with accuracy. And I happen to have the specs for what that card does right now. Oh, these are all Pentiums. What am I... Jesus. Jesus. You know what makes me sad? I'm looking at all these cards. Ooh, okay, here are some more. A ton of these cards are so much extra... They're more powerful than any of the CPUs that I have ever used. Hi, Shadow, how you doing? To give you an idea, I currently have a CPU that... it has somewhere around 3.3 gigahertz of power behind it. Just for an idea. 4,300 megahertz. That's like an extra... that's... Actually, hold on a second. Oh, yeah, these are megahertz. These things are giga... Is megahertz and gigahertz a different... God damn it. Sorry. Look at how smart I am. I am totally not. I know that I currently have an i7, so I'm going to try and gun for that. Howdy, FBay. I see that you have arrived. Thank you very much for coming out to the stream. I appreciate it. Well, let's just go for an i7 that seems very similar in power. 46, 47. I've got... I'd say like a low range of the newest chipsets would probably be what mine is. I've got a very old CPU. If anything, I kind of want to go with the i3s or something like that because they better match what I currently have. In fact, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. This is a much closer match to what I have power-wise. There we go. Now, next up, let's go ahead and grab some thermal paste. Dunzo. Shadow bought a phone today. That was nice. Ooh, what kind of phone? I want to know. Let's go for CPU cooling. What kind of CPU cooler do I even have on this thing? Oh, wow. That looked pretty basic. Uh-oh. I think... Let's just go with one of these. Because that's pretty close to what I use. Alright, so there we go. That's the CPU installed. Next up, you know what? We're going to match part for part what I have for RAM in my computer. And your jaw is going to hit the floor. Samsung S7, it's kind of old, but I have a problem with the newer phones anyway. Oh, nice. FBay said, meanwhile, I'd just be like, sticks random piece in because they sound cool. Right. I mean, I tend to do that a little bit, but I also try and think of compatibility. All right. So the RAM speed. I'm trying to remember what the speed of my RAM is. Give me a second. I'm going to check this real quick. Okay, okay. Apparently my RAM is 1333 megahertz. Shoot. Fucking god damn it. And then I look at this number and I weep. In theory, I could be doing so much better, but no. Okay, alright, what's like the lowest speed RAM that I could possibly put into a computer? Shadow says, I've also spent so much money on Daigakuten Saibon merch in the past month that I have literally banned myself from buying anything else for a while. Oh, that's legit. Oh, thank you very much for the bit donations, Mapley. Might head off for now. So you sent 40 and you also sent 30, like, yeah, about 40 minutes ago. Thank you very much for that. I did not pay much attention. No, thank you very much for that. I have got to keep my eyes open. Holy crap. Okay, come on. Which one? Why don't they even have the slower RAM in here anymore? Holy crap. Seems like the bare minimum seems to be 2133. All right. Well, I have learned today that apparently I cannot replicate my desktop setup anymore in this game because it's old. Shit. Okay. Again, let's just try and gun for maybe the half worst. We're going shopping today. You have a shelf full of merch you can look at. Got some display stands for the game cases too. Can't take a picture until you get your new phone. Nice. Now again, I am very due for an upgrade on a whole lot of parts. Sadly though, PC building is a heck of a thing. And it's very expensive to an extent. Let me check the ones up here. 4 gig. I'm trying to find one that would pull off doing exactly what I need it to do. Speed. Speed. Getting there, getting there. Actually, here. Nope, that doesn't work. Oh, wait. There we go. I'm being an idiot. I'm looking at everything manually. What am I doing? Ooh, okay. All right, that's a possibility. Again, out of this list, I would say the slowest one is probably the best. Well, not the best. All right, let's go with this. Because this has got the slowest frequency, but it's got a very high yield. So, actually, wait. 2400. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Let's open up every single one of these sockets, because this is going to be hilarious. Oh, all right. So here's an interesting place that I could do a little bit of education here. So you'll notice that all of these things have suddenly become incompatible, except for this one. That is because RAM is a fickle bastard. Once you install one type of RAM, it tends to get locked down to that type of RAM. So, if you want to be smart and if you want to be safe, just get the exact same type of RAM for every single one of these slots. You don't necessarily need to get a full slot of 4. Like, you can have 2. But if you'll notice, I just put in 4 sticks of 16. That is about as much RAM as I currently have in this computer that I am streaming from right now. Just... And I'm going to tell you right now, 16 tends to be the number that most people are perfectly fine with, okay? Like, that's a good minimum for most people. But I'm insane. So let's just give that a little bit of a heads up. Also, what the... What are you? Why this? Okay. Fine. I'll run with it. A Shadow says, I forgot to tell you, Bit. Oh, yeah, by all means. What did you forget? What did you not tell me? Okay. For everything that is holy, I hope that they kept the GPU in here. I might get a new visitor to my Animal Crossing island soon. What are you going on about? I might get a new visitor? How do you know? How are you aware of that? You're not on my island. You don't know what's happening. Anyway, so let's look up 1080. And hopefully they still have, like, the exact same graphics card that I have. Hopefully. Ooh. Ah, here we go. This is the graphics card I own. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 Founders Edition. Check that out. I bounced on that, like, the absolute second it came out, because I was in desperate need of some kind of an upgrade, and I was already making a huge jump from what I had before, so I was right on top of this when it came out. Nowadays, these things are twice as powerful. I'm not bitter. Oh, right. Hold on a second. Yeah, we gotta get rid of these 2 I/O ports. Because this thing, it is a big boy. You know because you may be the visitor? How do you know? My island's locked down. Everybody said, I got a robot ostrich villager today. That sounds amazing, and I want. I just want a robot villager. Okay, let's try and plug this thing in now. There we go. Look at this guy. Look at this boy. He's so big, so chunky. He is so powerful. I love him. Funny Stuff is yelling, Sprocket! Okay, so, okay, we got the graphics card, we got the memory, we got the motherboard, Now let's work on storage. So, here's a little bit of a new education portion for this. For the most part, the main thing that computers have been using for years is hard disk drives, or hard drives, HDD, that kind of technology. And it's been doing us well for a while. The only issue is that, unfortunately, these kinds of cards, like, you know, these kinds of hard drives only have a certain amount of speed to them, and it becomes kind of bottlenecked. Doesn't fit. Great. So, for example, let me see if I can find, like, a specific thing. Funny enough, they've been filtering out a whole lot of their old hard drive setups. Shit. This game has been upgrading things a lot. The important thing is that you have the ability to buy Animal Crossing at all because you got the thing you wanted. Nice. Anyway. So. Okay, no, like I was saying. Hard drives can only really rev up so fast, and on top of that, they use an extra amount of power. They are, you know, they tend to break a heck of a lot easier. So, as of late, we have been making a move over to solid-state drives. Now, what does that mean? Well, do you know flash drives? It's basically that, but in a more industrial hard drive form, with a lot more space, a lot more memory, and it's a lot faster. That's kind of the idea behind solid-state drives, and it's definitely an improvement. I would recommend, if anybody is interested in having like, whatever hard drive you decide to put your operating system on, I recommend putting it on a solid state drive, because that's going to make your computer fly. So keep that in mind. But for now, let's just stick with whatever hard drive I currently have, or at least like whatever is the closest to it. But also, I just realized I need to put down this guy. Okay, cool, cool. Because I think what this is a spot to put a hard drive. And I think that would be a really cool, a clean place to put it. No, storage, you bastard. Anyway, let's... Are these labeled with solid state on it? Let me see. Well, let's try this. Oh. SSD. Thank you. What's the best match? I think I currently have a Samsung SSD installed on my computer. I guess Gigabyte would probably be the closest. I don't freaking know. And I think it's a 1 terabyte SSD as well. So let's go with that. And there we go. And that's where my operating system will be installed on. Or, you know, in theory, I think. Sup, gamers? Says Trashiest of Streams. Hello. Here, actually, let me do some cabling up just to start out with. Connect this guy. Is there any particular labels on these? Because it really doesn't look like it. Also, the angle of attack on these is stupid. Alright. Alright, good enough. Actually, I'll wait to install the other hard drives until I know for a fact the OS is on there. Let's go with that. Alright, we got the power supply, we got the cables and the case fans and the derp-a-derp-a-derp. I think that's pretty much all the parts that we're going to need in order to run this thing. So, let's cable it up. Let's connect everything to the power supply, and let us actually make this computer a thing. Now, first, let's connect the case fans to the thing. There we go. This is a lot faster than an actual building of a computer. Because if you were actually building a computer, it would take so much longer to connect all of these parts. And also, you don't get that delicious orange, white, you know, outline of everything. Ta-da! There we go. I think that's everything connected. Okay. Let's go ahead and connect all this stuff to the back as well. And badoop. Now, here's a little... Actually, hold on. I also have a bunch of PC parts that I should probably connect to. Like, the beauty panels. Oh, make everything look spiffy and nice and beautiful. Blah. There we go. Everything is covered and everything looks slim, and the cable management is lovely. It's great. I think this is the back panel. All right. Now here's a little bit of a tip for somebody who has never built a computer before. Before you decide to just close everything up and give it a try, go ahead and run the computer with the side panel open first. Because if anything goes wrong, you're going to want to know right away. And you are going to want to make quick adjustments in the event something needs to be changed or adjusted or fixed. But in theory, this thing should work because it's connected. So let's go. Let's see if it works. Oh, there it is. Ah, and we see we have an error. No OS found. That's very interesting. So how do we fix that? Obviously, we install an operating system. To do that, let's go into our inventory. We have USB drives. Now you need to go and select some kind of a... Here, give me a second. You need to select what your operating system is going to be. And usually with configured computers and built computers, you'll tend to go for something like Windows 10, something to that capacity. Though I do know there are some people that they go with Linux, and if you go with Linux, you are another level of crazy. I like Windows. I'm a Windows guy. I have been Windows this in my entire life, so I don't think I would change in any way. But yeah, let's just make the assumption that there is an operating system installed on that that flash drive. Because that's kind of the idea. That's what the game's trying to hint at. There we go. And let's just pretend, oh, this is the whole installation software there. It looks like the computer, it runs, it does the thing. Holy shit. Now, it's time to run this thing a little bit of a test. So we're going to install 3D Mark. It's asking us to restart now. No, not right now. I'm going to install the music player, though. That's why the heck not. We also have a select wallpaper option. And a virus scanner. Freaking great. Okay. So now let's go ahead and restart. Do. Also, let's unplug that boy because we don't need it anymore. There we go. Okay. Actually, now that that is installed, let's go ahead and do what I was talking about before. Let's install some hard drives. Because again, the computer down here, it's got a ton of hard drives. I was talking to Mapley not too long ago about this. But my computer, I work with a lot of data, especially when it comes to this stream. So it requires me to have a lot of hard drive space. And let me just bring it up right now. I have a total of 5 hard drives. 5 hard drives. I have one that is the solid state drive that is the main computer's hard drive. I've got a footage drive. I have a drive for personal files, which, by the way, has 666 gigabytes free. That's not indicative of anything. I have a dedicated a Steam drive that only has Steam games on it. And I have a stream drive, which is entirely for stream footage and stuff. And all in all, the amount of space that I have on my computer is a whopping total of 12 terabytes of space. And I need every single ounce of it. So yeah. I don't know if we're going to get up to 12 terabytes with this thing. But God help me, we can try. Look in storage real quick. Well. I think the closest I'm going to get is like 8. And it's not even going to be the exact same setup for hard drives either. Like, I can at least try and make it up to the amount. Okay, slide this back in. Close this boy. Sealed. Oh, son of a... I keep forgetting. There's an order, sir! Probably should have left the back panel off. Oopsies. Alright. Let's connect these boys. First of all... Oh, right, cable. What are you thinking about, buddy? Got it. Oh, jeez. I'm actually running out of ports on the power supply. Holy shit. For some reason, I was disconnected from the chat. Is everybody still within the chat room? That was very strange. I'm still streaming. Very confusing. Let me put all the beauty parts back on. Here we go. And I'm confident enough. Let's just slap the front back on this thing. And we good. So in theory, yeah, that's the closest facsimile I can make to my current computer sitting down here. If not, this is probably a little bit better than my computer. So anyways, let's power it on. Ooh. Look at it glow. Let me actually look down here. Pretty similar, except the RAM in this computer does not glow. Okay. So, how does it perform? Let's test. Grab 3D Mark and let's run it. If you don't know what 3D Mark is, it's basically a benchmarking software that tests how much performance you can get out of your computer. So, give it a bit. It's simulating what kind of results you would get out of a 3D Mark test. Ooh. Okay, so I think that original test, that first test, was a test of the CPU. This is a test of the GPU. And as you can see, it's a heck of a lot smoother than just using the CPU for the test. Very slick. Who is this strange individual? What are you trying to do, sir? This museum doesn't want you. And now I think this part of the test is a combination of both CPU and GPU. Which, honestly, it's probably only using GPU. It's a very pretty museum. I wonder if they've expanded on this this little preview. Oh, okay, there we go. And now it gives me a little bit of a score for what my computer does. Okay, there's the information. Let me see if there's anything in particular I can pull from this. Oh, Jesus. So, yeah, my CPU, 12 frames per second. Not good. So it could be better. It could definitely be better. And I know that my computer down here could definitely be better. So with that being said, I think now it's time to do better. Let's do it, shall we? Let's actually make the computer of our dreams. Not just trying to, like, you know, make something that's a facsimile. Let's do something awesome. I've not done that on the stream, so I really want to try and do that. So what kind of case would you guys be interested in me grabbing? Do you want me to go with something very fan-heavy? Do you want me to do something, like, weirdly shaped? Also, do you have a preference on color? I certainly don't. Basically, if it functions properly, that's all I care. Oh, Jesus. Why? Just why? Also, it's a micro case. Of course it is. Because you couldn't fit anything inside that little freaking... Yeah. Shadow says, I like the black ones, to be honest. Okay. Same here. I like all my computers I've had are just straight up gigantic black bricks. That's it. So again, you could go ridiculous and decide to grab the most colorful, gaudy, ridiculously stupid looking case you could possibly get. Trashy likes a combination between black and white. I saw this on the... Oh, gee. The Colink Big Chungus. Why? Why? What have you done? Does this even work? Would this work for the setup I'm trying to pull off here? Apparently it's a full tower. You know what? I think we got to go with the Big Chungus. Do we have to use that now? Yep, we have to use that now. Okay, come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. This is the It looks like a bobsled. This is the most over-the-top, stupid thing I've ever seen. Why? Why would you... Oh, God. Do you really need to show off that badly? Why? What the fuck? Okay. All right. You know what? I will not judge. Let's just do it. Let's make this case our bitch, and let's make it do a whole lot of, you know, curse. So where do I even start with this? What what do I do from here? Okay, all right. Let's go with motherboard. Just grab a really nice motherboard. So, all right, so size SATX, yeah, pretty much. Honestly, I feel like the motherboard that we picked previously is going to be just fine. Actually, yes, I think it will. Let's do that. Massive da-honka-bonka-loos. There is something that's very pleasant about just going ham. Just going ridiculously over the top. So, I don't know. In some respect, I admire this case. Although I wouldn't want to work on this thing sideways. That's my main problem. Like, you have to constantly tilt your head to the left, like, yeah. Okay. Right. So, we've covered that. Let's go ahead and pick a good CPU, then. Well, it's gotta be one of the newer models of Core, just like the Intel Core series. Let's go with the most cores we could possibly put. Like, the most cores, the highest frequency. Let's go nuts. Let's just, do silly. 4,606 core. So what's the highest core amount that we can have? I think it's 6. All of these are incompatible. Lovely. Whoa, holy shit. Here we are. Okay, we found some good shit down here. Oh, Core i9! Never mind. Also, holy mother of God. Holy mother of what? Okay, I take back what I said about... Yeah, we're taking this out. We need to find a better motherboard that carries, like, you know, a better cards. Now, get the hell out of here. The worst part about this game is that you gotta do everything manually. Okay. Right. Better motherboard. Well, what is, like, the best freaking motherboards you can get out of this thing? Definitely not these. These are, like, the generic crap ones. NZXT. Coffee late. Okay, so, max RAM speed. Maybe, it has something to do with the... I am a smart, very smart consumer. What the ever-loving Jesus? Holy shit. Oh, why? This is the kind of power that, like, I would never need. But I so deliciously, desperately want. Oh, yeah. I should definitely... Okay, I should base this decision off of what chipsets the CPU currently works with. So, hold on. Let's take a look at some of those CPUs and see which ones they... Yeah, the silly ones. The ridiculous ones. The ones that'll blow a hole in your leg if you accidentally put your leg too close to the case. So the chipset for this is... What even? The 2066. Okay, alright. Let's keep that in mind. Let's head back. Let's go shopping. 2066, 2066. I think these are all like older. Hold on. Perhaps. Maybe not. Hold on. LGA 1151. X299. You know, hold on a second. What am I doing? Let's type in 2066. There we go. For fuck's sake. Hey, hey, hey! Yeah, I am bad with this game. Okay, all right, let's make a choice. Ooh! Oh, the Rampage! Oh, I know the Rampage. Actually, funny enough, the Asus Rampage is, I think this is the Rampage Mark II or 3 that I currently have in my case, and this is like the Rampage Mark 6. I think we might have a winner. Perhaps. Let's see, what other things do we have going on here? 4133 megahertz for... or maybe this one. Hold on, no. I am like a kid in a candy store. Look what we found! Oh, Gigabyte's actually... Gigabyte might actually win this. Because not only does it allow for that CPU chipset, it also has some pretty fast RAM speed compatibility. You know what? You are the winner! Come down and claim your prize of this horrifying freaking trapezoid thing. I christen thee the Wedge! Now, this is why you do your proper research. That way you know whether or not you're pumping the most power out of it as possible. Oh, we're gonna need, like, an industrial CPU cooler. Holy shit. Okie dokie. So, best goddamn CPU on the market. Let's do this. I think this one is probably it, because this goes up to, like, 4,500 megahertz. Yep. Yeah, I think so. I'm going with it. This thing needs 2 damn clasps in order to hold this together. Holy shit. So much about... Look at how much RAM you can have on this thing. What the fuck? What even is this computer? Okay. Well, we have installed that, but first, let's put on some thermal paste, because I tend to forget, and I do not want to. All right. We need to start thinking about CPU cooling. Now, this game did put in custom water cooling into the game, which, that's great, but I don't really know if I am good at it. I don't know. It seems like a ridiculous extra step that I'm not sure if I would pull off. Well, I mean, it's not like we're risking much by doing it. Also, is this a spot for... Where's the power supply go? Oh, it's down there. What the fuck? Get the freaking shit. Damn it. Okay, all right. Let's... Hold on. I think I know how I want to do this. So I either want to put the water cooling up there or over here. I'm not sure which one. But let's see. I want to go for, like, the best airflow. I think it might be one of these. Is this right? Does this work? I guess we'll see. I've always been really terrified about the concept of water cooling a computer. Because I just feel like... if water cooling in your computer fails, it's going to epically fail. And I don't really know if I want to deal with that. Alright, now we need to install a reservoir. La 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 la. This one looks good. Where would you even mount this? It looks like I mount it down there. But this thing's taking it up. Son of a... Can I mount it up here? Shoot. Don't you give me other options? Damn it. Yeah, sorry. We're getting into the experimental portion of the episode where I'm not 100% certain on whether or not this will work or not. God help us all. Alright. Okay, now that I've taken that out, let's try and put the reservoir down. Okay, this is where it would be sitting. Got it, got it. Or... yeah, okay, I guess that's the only spot. I hate the fact that this thing is on an angle. Patrick, we have technology. Grabs computer and tries to smash the dollar. Also, what's this? This one mounts down here as well. What about the other ones? Hold on. So this one, 1500, 1400. Yeah, I would want to go with the 1500. Okay. So once I have that installed, what could I mount something down there? The files are in the computer. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Oh, I could make this work, maybe. Hold on. Okay, this is going to take a little bit of tinkering, but I think I could remove these fans, mount the water cooling up here. The frickin' music in this game, it's so bouncy and strange. We're at a very strange rave. Okie dokie. Yes, this will fit. Oh, you're not lying. Oh, I'm definitely not. So question, is this thing mounted the proper way? I don't know, I'm looking at this thing and it just feels like it's mounted incorrectly somehow. Maybe I'm a dum-dum. I don't know. I'm probably a dum-dum. Okay, so we got the reservoir set up and good to go. Let's... The CPU... Okay, so the CPU block is what is going to be keeping our CPU cool. This is basically one of the main spots that we want to be cooling in our computer, so... The Chungus does seem to not be easy mode. Yeah, no, definitely not. So, what makes the most sense? Does it matter which block I decided to pick? Is this just visual? I feel like this is just visual. Alright, what's the prettiest CPU block I can get? I do trust Corsair to an extent, so... Let's go with black. And again, we got the, got thermal paste on it, so it's sealed. So, yeah, that is essentially the replacement for what a cooling fan would do. And instead, it's going to be cooled by our water supply. Should I... You know what? I should probably start making some plans about what I want to do for a graphics card. Since very soon we're going to be covering this entire place with, you know, like tubes and shit. Also, do I want to add any extra fans? Because we got this thing here. Good. Case fans. So what's a good powerful fan 120 millimeter. Okay, we're looking at like airflow. Well, that's very strange. That one's improved significantly better. Now, I forget that I don't know if you need to have some specific power fans. I've always seen that fans tend to work fairly smart in a case, and I feel like a lot of motherboards are designed to control the fans to maintain their speed so that the air pressure is relatively the same, or at least like it's not going to screw with things. But I could be entirely wrong about that one, so I'm not going to claim that somehow I know for sure. You saw an 80-something one? We got 73 CFM at the moment. 42. We need to make sure that it actually fits that socket. You want the generic one? More Tony? Hey, more Tony, I'm walking. That one does not fit. I think I saw Cryo Rig. You know what's funny? I was looking up case fans at one point, because I was having some difficulty with some fans that had died on the server PC sitting behind me. And one thing that frustrated me was the fact that I could not find any fans that didn't have some ridiculous LEDs in them. It's like, why can't I just get some simple, well-reviewed, good-looking fans installed in my computer rig and not have them be as bright as a Christmas tree? Like, can't there be a good compromise? Anyway. Ooh, okay. This is not going to work. Okay, never mind. But I could mount them up there. I can mount an... You also need to keep in mind that there's a good chance that I will not be able to power some of these fans, since there are only so many power ports that are going to be on the motherboard. So it's not like I can just pepper this entire thing with case fans and call it a day. Monkey brain like pretty lights. Exactly. That's basically it, yeah. I'm just like, I don't care about the lights. I just want it to be efficient, and I want it to work. Okay, so I'm going to try and mount a couple of these things down here. And then if I have some more room for some more, I'll attempt to try and mount 2 up here. Okay. So now that we got that going on. Graphics cards. Let's talk graphics cards. Holy shit. What do we want to do with graphics cards? Well, clearly we want something pretty powerful. If I had any kind of a dream, like, if I want my dream computer, stream Switch games, I don't know. Oh, this is the 1080 Ti. So, all right. So the newest cards that are out there right now are, I think, the 2080, if I remember that right, 2060. Let's just, like, mark down 20 for a second. I always forget. Yeah, it's the 2080. Because if there's anything I really badly want to get my hands on, it's a 2080 graphics card. Not explode or lag when I try to draw on Clip Studio. I forget, wasn't there some kind of a Kickstarter for a... Oh, I think it was for a drawing application for the Nintendo Switch. With, like, an extra peripheral. Anyways. So, we got Asus, colorful, we got EVGA stuff in here. Funny, for whatever reason, EVGA tends to be the graphics card I tend to revolve to. Despite the fact that a lot of times Asus is kind of like the beefiest one. Shadow heard about it. I forget. Did any of you post that in the chat? I feel like I might have heard it from the chat. Holy balls. VRAM 11. Ooh. Hey, yeah, you could always get the generic one. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080 Ti Founders Edition. Well, the issue is that they will not be buffed up nearly as much as some other card makers. Because again, the frequency that they run at is much higher. We got Zotac. I have no idea who Colorful iGame even is. Never heard of him. Don't know if I trust him. You know what? Just because I have a massive bias, I'm gonna go with EVGA. Fuck. Holy shit. What the hell? Whoo, doggy. Question. I want to check something real quick. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, what the good golly fuck. I just noticed something, and it's glorious. Oh, hey, these things aren't, yeah, these parts are just rip out. Nice. Yeehaw! Kippy says, then again, I feel the touch sensitivity on Switch is way too low for drawing. I know that the Switch was not really designed for drawing in mind, so, like, not surprised. Oh, shoot. Need to pull some more. Oop. I feel like I should just take all these out. We aren't gonna need any of you. Also. Nintendo ain't fussed with artists. Wacom and Huion are battling for that field. I sold my soul to Wacom. Of course, that's just because I have this crappy one sitting over here. Okay. Let's just see what happens here. Fuck. Oh. Oh. Oh, I needed to do something else. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, oh my god. This thing is held in by 3 freaking screws. What are you even doing? Oh my god. Oh my. Holy sweet lord. Why? Oh my god. I don't think water cooling could even cover this. I feel like we're gonna need to do something more. Now, what I'm thinking, because there is a thing that you can do here. Is it possible to... Oh, water cooling GPUs. That's what it is. Okay. Okay. I messed up. I can't do this. Shadow says, I have a drawing tablet, but I literally stopped using it in favor of your laptop's trackpad. That's interesting. Okay, no, I just realized if I want to water cool the GPUs, I'm going to need to specify that. So, let's do that. Well, what's, like, the best option? What's the difference between these two? Yeah, what the heck is the difference between these two? What are they? Plexi? Ace tie? What do you do? How? Why? I don't know. What? Oh. They're oddly a little bit thinner than I imagined they would be. Okay, what about this one? Huh. All right. This is very interesting. What do you... I mean, probably for the best, considering those other cards were dinosaurs. Have they SLI'd? I don't even know if they've done the SLI thing. Maybe they have. I don't even know. Hey, 44, how's it going? Oh, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Hobo says, your cousin's getting back from China on Saturday. Good luck. Are there any... I'm going to make the assumption that there are probably no better graphics cards than the ones that I was already putting in there. It's just throwing me off the fact that they're so thin, and the air-cooled ones are not. Despite the fact that they're the exact same chipset. I mean, maybe that's to be expected. There we go, SLI. Can you tell me your opinion about your first PC build? Or can... I can't actually see your first PC build. So it's going to be kind of tough to judge. But maybe? I don't know. I'm not exactly a master when it comes to PC building and whatnot. I definitely like it, but I wouldn't call myself a master. Anyway. Okay, so GPUs have been installed. Let's go and... We've got the CPU block in, and now pipes, connectors, and coolant. Ryzen 5, 3600, HyperX, predator, DDR4, RGB, 3200 RPM, 16 gigs of RAM. We blew 1 terabyte, gigabyte, GeForce 660. So this is your first PC build, and this is like, is this a PC build IRL? Or are we talking this from like PC Building Simulator? Oh, Dragon Rose says, made it! Just had to get new circuit board for your house today. There was a lot of weird power outages. That's freaking weird. Very strange. Glad to see you here. Ah, your real build. Okay. Well, that being said, Ryzen 5. I remember Ryzen 5 being significantly good, especially a 3600. DDR4, RGB, 3200 megahertz, and 16 gig. Yeah, I feel like that would definitely do you. Gigabyte. The issue, like, it sounds like a pretty good build, but at the end of the day, it depends on what you're planning on doing with that build. I think it's definitely going to play video games pretty well, but I don't know. I'm not sure what you're planning on applying that into, or yeah, what you're going to apply to make it do. I'd say that sounds fine. And apparently Shadow said, I had a tornado storm come through. Ugh. Again, stay safe, folks. Stay safe. All right. So we've got our graphics card set up. So we got a radiator. We got a reservoir. GPUs. And now pipes, connectors. So I guess this is just choosing the type of connectors that I'm... Man, I'm so terrified of all of this. I don't know what any of this does. I am way over my head, and I probably shouldn't be here. And yet, here I am. Okay. So I think what the point of this whole thing is that I need to connect these things in sequence so that the liquid is going through it properly. Shadow says I'm in the city, so the tornado itself didn't come through, but my second floor porch flooded and Euroma's on the second floor. See. 44 is going to be playing Warzone, GTA, Fortnite, CSGO, and editing. Yeah, I think that would definitely do the job. How many FPS can it run on medium? I don't know. I have no clue. Again, I'm not a computer master, so to speak. So, if I were... Okay, let's try this. I have no idea if this is going to work. But... Does that work? Is it? No, that definitely does not work. Clearly, I have strung this improperly. So, does that work? Okay, well, now let me attempt to put some coolant in the thing. Well, what kind of coolant do we want to be running through this case? I'm going to say blue, since that's this stream in a nutshell. Let's go for the most nuclear-ass blue we could possibly find. That looks pretty bright. Can't fill, pump not powered. Oh, for fuck's sake. Alright. Fine. Boop. And I suppose everything is gonna have to be connected to a CPU now, isn't it? No, I mean a PSU. My bad. Okay, well, let's go and do that then. Now, considering how much freaking power is currently coursing through this thing, I almost want to say now would be the time to use a 1600 watt power supply. It still seems completely over the top and unnecessary. At the same time, I kind of don't care. I'm kind of in a let's just make sure this thing works mood. Smoky. Right. Cabling. Let's do this. What's with this music? Actually, I think this might have been music from the Halloween update. And they just have not gotten rid of it. I love the idea. It's just like, oh, the haunted computer. And now we have the Christmas music. Again, I think I need to go and edit this this little playlist, because a lot of it doesn't seem to be right. I am making all kinds of mistakes. Okay. Well, it's all hooked up. Let's try and add the coolant now. Yep. Okay, all right. Let's see what the heck happens here. Look at it go. Look at it move. Oh. It did it. I don't know if it's doing it efficiently, but it did it. I am super happy about that. Nice. Okie dokie. Well, alright. Now, my curiosity. I just feel like I should take that one case fan down there and just take it the hell out. And replace it and, like, put it up there. Because it just seems silly to have this thing sitting down here. Did I disconnect a cable I wasn't planning on? I feel like I did. Here, give me a moment. Yes, I believe I did. Okay. Anyway. I just feel like the design of this thing is a little bit lopsided. It needs some more case fans. Let's just go ahead and grab the ones that we were grabbing previously. And I imagine this thing is going to be very pretty, and it's going to do a lot of pretty visuals. Hopefully. With a hope and a prayer, maybe it will. Ooh. Oh, hello. What? Oh! Oh! One of these fans can piggyback off the other one. Oh, okay, that's convenient. Did not know that. Well. So you're telling me that I can't have a fan over... Oh, it really throws off the frickin'... I know, it just makes me mad. I like everything to line up real well. I can still put fans down here? Well, sure. Okay, I can rig it up to these ones. I don't know. Okay, this is slowly starting to become a science experiment, and I don't know if I'm okay with it. And I'll connect this one down to that one. The cable management in this thing, I feel like could use some work. I am so intimidated and scared by everything happening in here. I don't know if it's working. I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know if the entire workshop's going to catch on fire, but, you know, it... I'd like to think that the game wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't play around with me like that. Okay. If I'm not forgetting... Oh, wait, the RAM! What am I doing? Dude! I totally forgot about the RAM! What am I... And also, I need some kind of storage, too. Like, was my brain in an entire other area code? Okay, alright, well, let's try and work on that, then. First of all, where even do we put the storage in this freaking thing? I don't know. Is there even any room in the PCI slots to put some kind of storage in? I don't know. We'll see. Now, I want to do one thing that I have not had a chance to do with my own computer. I want to try and put in some kind of a PCI-related SSD card. Because that's another thing. Another piece of education for you. SATA is one of the older connections that you could do with a hard drive. Nowadays, a lot of people are just plugging in hard drives directly into their PCI ports. And actually, there's a lot of motherboard manufacturers nowadays that are actually putting in PCI ports that are designated for hard drive space. So we're moving up in the world with that. Hobo says, at least if it does catch fire, it stares off into the distance. So pretty. Sorry, what were we talking about? I mean, I guess if it catches fire, it'll put itself out with all the freaking liquid. Anyway. Let's go crazy. Let's grab this guy. Do I have any spots available on the motherboard for this at all? I don't think I do. And as a matter of fact, I don't think there's any spots on this motherboard that can do anything with it. Okay. So what's the next best thing? Can I mount a hard drive in this thing? And if I can, where can I? Where's the terabyte solid state drives? Now, there's one from Gigabyte that's 1 terabyte. And one from HyperX that's close. Alright, let's go with Gig. Where is this mounted? No, seriously, where the heck do you mount this? Do you mount it down here? I gotta check this. I feel like I have filled this computer up to capacity. Perhaps now that I've removed that, I actually might have made some space. Perhaps. Also, let's just try this again. Nope, I don't have any... So, why is it giving me the option to install that thing if I don't really have a spot for it? Oh, whatever. I guess you need to have a brain and actually use your smarts. No, this is not a spot to install the hard drive. Okay. So, where would you install the hard drive? For real, where do you put a hard drive in this strange trapezoid nightmare? I'm so lost. Could it be down here, perhaps? Isn't it in the back? No. Hard drive space could be in any portion of the computer, honestly. You. Oh, wait. What was that? I thought I saw something for a second there. Maybe not? Okay. That is a good-ass question. Where do you install a hard drive in this thing? Apparently Shadow saw it too. I doubt it would be in a very small portion of this thing. Oh, what is this? What? Oh, this is the power on the computer. What? Wait. What are you going? Wait, power? Why? How? What? This is where the power button is? Oh, oh wait. Oh, it's right there, I think. Yes. Okay. I was super confused. All right, I have a theory. Perhaps I put these panels on a little bit too quickly, and I need to remove them in order to do changes in the computer. That occurred to me, and let's see if maybe my theory is correct. Oh, I got it. I cracked the code. I've done it. Okay. All right. Well, now the question is, are there any ports on here on the back that are specified for maybe like one of these? No, does not appear so. Well, you know what? That's fine. I don't need anything super ridiculously fast. I just need a hard drive that is relatively fast, that has some good size to it. Check that out. Yes, okay. And you know what? Just to flex a little bit harder, let's go with two of these bad boys, huh? Yeah! Oh! The show's back on, people. Also, what is this? Oh, that's the computer monitor. I was very confused there. Okay, so now that I've kind of torn this thing apart just for the sake of trying to figure out where the heck I was supposed to install a hard drive, let me go ahead and put those case fans back in. Because now I'm sure I've got room for them. It took me a little time, but hey, we got through it. It's a shame that I can't put, like, another fan right there, but the reservoir is taking up that spot. Oh, it's garbage. Okay. All right, all that's connected. One more thing to put in, and that is the RAM. And you know what? Let's just be dumb. Let's be real stupid and add, like, the highest amount of RAM possible with the fastest speed I can think of. What was this motherboard, yeah, what was it, like, good for? I forget. It was something like 4,000, right? In fact, I think it's like 41 something or other. 4133. Yeah, let's go with that. Again, we're going for the best. You know what? When it comes to speed, I'm going to take speed over like quality over quantity at this moment. We'll go with a 4133 megahertz card, and all like the minimum on all of these is 8, and the maximum. All right. Well, who do I trust? Oh, what looks the gaudiest? The Spectrix looks pretty gaudy. I'm gonna go with that. Oh shoot. Are you guys ready for an opening party? I certainly am. This... Holy shit. The excitement is back on. Oh my god. There we go. And right on the front page, so this has easy access. What are we at price-wise, by the way? I didn't check. Retail value of this computer, $6,775. See, this would be the point in the video if I upload it to YouTube that I would make the clickbait of just being like, I built myself a $10,000 PC. And then it's just like in, you know. Okay, well, that's all the RAM. That's all those parts. I think we're in order. Like, I think we got it. Yeah, it was like almost $7,500 computer. Done. And that's it. All that's left in here is PCI covers. Do I bother? I mean, yeah. I guess there are a couple of whoops. There are a few spots that I could put PCI covers back on. So I think just for cleanliness and making it look nice, I will see if I can install some of these things back in. Helps with airflow. I guess. I don't know. There we go. That's a pretty PC. Once again, I have 2 GeForce 20 series cards in here. Water cooled. Wow. Oh. No, never mind. I think we're basically done. Like, that'll do, pig. That'll do. Ooh. One last thing. Oh. Nope. One last thing before we... Son of a bitch. Because this thing does not have an OS on this thing just yet. You know, let's start it up from here. I want to see the moment it starts up. Because if this thing horribly fails, I want to see it. Oh. Oh, right. I plugged all the... Oh, man. I got very scared for a second there. I'm like, why are you not starting up? Like, oh, right. I pulled you off the table and the cables went on. All right. Whoopsies. Come on now. Okay. Now it's time for this thing to go. Oh, yeah, the flash drive. Oh, no, it's in. Never mind. Achievement unlocked, but can it run Crysis? The answer is yes. Check out this. Look at him go. Slick basted. All right. Let's install some programs. Again, 3D Mark. GPU tuner, why not? Pink says, reminds me of my new computer. If this is your new computer, then you are a lucky son of a gun. Oh, hey, I can mess with the lighting. Sure, why the heck not? System info, sure. Do I need the virus scanner? Probably not. Let's install OCCT, because sure. Yours changes color. Very good, very nice. Yes, I'll install this boy too, because I don't know why. Holy, what the fuck? Why is it changing colors so rapidly? It looks like that one meme. Got some strange, colorful things going on here. Here, let's go for a special blue. Why are you doing that? Make it stop. What the fuck? How do I delete? Make it go faster. The colors must achieve hyperspeed, says Hooded Hobo. No! Oh! I don't want it to be doing this ridiculous light show. Light effect. Breathe. How'd it work? Goddamn, I ruined this computer. It didn't even change. What is it doing? Oh. Oh. I understand. Select all lights. Thank God. Holy crap. All right. Let's think about whether or not I want any kind of not flashing. Screw that. What is breathing? What are you even doing? Is it just like a very, very slow and subtle thing? Because that's boring. Here. I wish it was a little bit more nuclear, because for some reason it's a little bit dull. Well, that'll work, I guess. Alright. You selected the wrong thing. Alright. No, I think I selected the right thing. I wanted to save my eyes. Alright. So, there's that. What is this GPU tuner? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I'm not interested in doing any overclocking stuff. I feel like I would royally destroy this computer if I did. Now, this thing is the CPU tester. Now, this thing will tell us whether or not my CPU will hold together in the current state that it's in, and it won't blue screen my computer. Or at least that's one way to look at it. There's also the GPU. Okay, let's give this thing a test. Oh, there goes. The number's going up. Funny enough, the temperature is actually doing pretty well inside this thing. It's drawing a heck of a lot of power, but it's staying at like 55 degrees Celsius, which is pretty damn good if you think about it. That's that water cooling, man. I'm liking it. Okay. Now, one final test that I have for this. Oh, first of all, let's go to system info. And it just gives you the system information. Okay, cool. Whatever. All right. Now, the final test that I want to do is I want to check out 3D Mark, because I think this thing is just going to fly and do the best quality possible. So, let's see. Oh, yeah, that is buttery smooth. Look at that. Like, this thing ain't even choking. Frame per second, 33 at the moment. What's the cap that it allows? And also, this is just the CPU reading all these frames, by the way. So, just a heads up with that. We're about to move over to the graphics card. Oh my, look at the graphics card. Holy shit. 132. Yeah, 130. It keeps climbing up ever so slightly. Oh, what? 134. Look at him go. Super fast motion. And now this is the CPU and the GPU combined. Which actually the GPU looks like it kind of holds it back a bit. Wow. It's going so fast, it's showing me more of the cutscene. Okay, and there's the score. So here's a comparison between my current computer. You know, this is the closest to my current computer setup. So about 6,000. We've more than doubled that in this computer here. And all it took was, let's let's see, 7,000. This one is actually, you know what? That sounds about right. 2,000. Yeah, all it took was an extra $5,000 to make that happen. Ooh, holy shit. Hobo says, this reminds me of when my dad would install tons of graphics demos and just watch them all day. Graphics demos are kind of cool, man. Like, it shows off a heck of a lot of performance things, and it is neat. It tests your computer. Shadow says, could you retry the one on the good computer because your screen started lagging and you missed all of it? Yeah, alright, sure. It's not ridiculously impressive, I mean. Again, it is really neat that, again, this is just the CPU running at the moment. And, your CPU rarely does anything graphically intensive nowadays. Most of that is pushed on to the graphics card. So just the fact that it is able to pull off graphics like this is kind of neat. And then speed. Pink says, I mean, Portal 2 was laggy when I first played it. I mean, I imagine your computer probably wasn't, like, you know, up to the task, that's for sure. Does make me kind of want to go back to some of the old games that I played when I was younger and just see whether or not it's any good. Because my computer is a heck of a lot more advanced than the old ones I used to have. Yeah, usually the test would end, like, way back at the very beginning of taking a look at the guns. And now it's just like, no, here's the whole museum. Shadow says, I'm laughing. It's so fast my computer literally can't handle it. What? Are you seriously having stream issues? Very crazy. I have no clue. I mean, that might be something on my end. Like, maybe for some reason, you know, simulating 3D Mark on my end is, like, you know, I don't know. I have been horrible with talking this episode. Like, I have been stuttering and being very confused. No, that might just be me on my end, because I know that... well, again, you saw the performance that was on my other computer over here. There. In fact, it looks like my CPU on my computer over here is actually capping out. I don't think it can handle this speed of 3D Mark. But anyway, so yeah, that's a little bit of a look at what BitP streams could potentially be if I had $7,000 just kicking around that I could just sink into putting into a gigantic... Again, is this a trapezoid? I'm going to look this up just so that I'm not stupid. Okay, yes, it is a trapezoid, I think. Give me a moment. Yep, okay, it is. Because, like, I was sitting here like, if I get the shape wrong, I'm going to be so upset with myself. No, I remember trapezoid was one of my favorite shapes as a kid because it had such an amazing name. Like, trapezoid! It sounds like some sort of a villain in some sort of, like, a children's television show. Okay, well, I think that will do it for this episode of PC Building Simulator. I do not have much else that I need to do, really. I mean, I just kind of wanted to hop in here and try out some of the brand new tech that you can plug into a computer. And this has been goofy. Jesus. I don't know. Like, there's something very glorious about having a computer this gaudy and ridiculous. There is a part of me that really badly wants to have one. And I suppose considering a whole lot of these devices are based off of real-world products, I could make it in real life. I'd be insane if I did, but I could. Okay. But that will do it for the stream today. So thanks everybody who came out to the stream to take a look at things, and especially thanks to anybody who helped doing any extra support, whether it be cheers or following me. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you, 44. It's never necessary to do any kind of donations, but it is nice because I can take that and put it towards the show. Don't think I'll ever have the kind of money that would pay for these kinds of computers, but hey, that's a lovely dream sometime in the future. Who knows? Anyways, I stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays, all of them starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And next Saturday, I guess I'll be diving into a little bit more Terraria. And then Sunday, here's the thing, I'm currently trying to do a little bit of an experiment on my Animal Crossing town. So there's a part of me that feels like I actually don't want to do Animal Crossing next Sunday. Because I want to wait until I have something kind of cool to show you guys. So we might skip that in favor of something else. I'm not sure yet, but we will see. Anyway, I'm going to head off because I need to go to the bathroom, and I do not know why. I think I drank way too much water before I started. Okay, enough personal things from me. I'm going to go. Again, thank you very much for coming out. See you next time.